meeting of City Commission to order. We'd like to start with a moment of silence. If you can join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Belcheck.
Present.
Commissioner Perdue.
Present.
Commissioner Asasi.
Present.
Commissioner Kilgore.
Present.
Commissioner Knight.
Present.
Commissioner Robbins.
Present.
Mayor LeGrand.
Present. And we have an interpreter here for interpreting into, from English into Spanish and vice versa for those who need them. If you come up and introduce yourself, ma'am, and say what I just said roughly.
Good afternoon. Yaritza, interpreter here. We're going to be offering interpretation for anyone that needs any interpretation during public comments. So please let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist. Vamos a estar teniendo interpretación en español. Para cualquier persona que necesite hacer comentario público, por favor, déjeme saber. Con gusto le ayudo. Thank you.
And this is the moment for a public comment on agenda items. Anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on items that are on the agenda, welcome to come up to the microphone. Please introduce yourself, say where you're from, and then tell us what you like for 3 minutes.
How y'all doing? I'm D. Jones. Since he asked, said, where you from? I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but I stay here in GR. I'm going to be speaking on Resolution 3. So I understand this vacation is not a vacation like flying to Dubai or something luxurious and things like that. But I understand it's going to be a lot of construction going on around the soccer stadium and things like that. And I got to say that I wish we were building affordable housing instead of a soccer stadium. I do like the soccer stadium. I know it's an asset to the community, but I'd rather the DeVosses and billionaires and Van Andels and Grand Action 2.0 to be putting that funding into the community. The community is going through unprecedented times, and they have direct connections to Donald Trump and have been supporting Republicans. They even started a new PAC to get Democrats out of office, the Michigan thing. I seen that with Betsy DeVos and Dick DeVos. I'm very bold, I'm very frank. Instead of trying to get good politicians, because there are some bad Democrats too. I'm not just going to say every Democrat or every Republican, everybody is good, because there are some bad people on both sides of the aisle. In all politics, there are bad people and there are good people. But I'd rather our local billionaires be spending that funding on affordable housing, on education, investing into the community, the actual needs that we have, instead of spending 6-7 figures to push back against good politicians that are actually probably going to do what's best for the community instead of pushing their agenda. I don't like that, and I'm going to speak about that. So instead of vacationing, instead of having, because I stay over here on the first ward, and I stay over here on the west side. You know what I'm saying? I stay at 967 Tamarack. If y'all ever got an issue with anything, to be honest, I'll put my name, my date, with a stamp it. I'll live in no fear of no person, because I'm standing up for my community, and we tired of not being invested into. I'm sick of the third ward not being invested into. The first ward is getting a large investment, but that funding should be going to the community. And I believe that the funding, the bills, this cash, this revenue that these people are getting, what you guys do with that, people pay attention to that. And that shows your character. And you guys are continuously trying to fund this campaigns that's trying to get bad people, that's trying to get good people in the office. Because y'all want to keep pushing this billionaire agenda that's leaving other people out, that's caring about the 1% class that have billions and people that are poor. We struggling. Donald Trump is cutting funding from food pantries. He's cutting government funding from programs and offices that we need across the globe, and I just don't understand that. So no vacation. I hate that y'all about to be having all this construction, because I'm be driving my little Ford Focus over around my neighborhood and stuff like that, and I'd rather y'all be building some, I'd rather be construction is be blocked off because y'all are building affordable housing instead of the stuff for the soccer stadium, so y'all can have nice roads so people can get there to see games. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm Kamadi Long. I'm from here at Grand Rapids. I grew up on the west side. You know, I played at Union High School. I was a star safety there, matter of fact. You know, we was the first team in 18 years to win back-to-back games back in 2021. So I like to say, like, where everything.
Because you got to speak on a specific agenda item.
Oh, this the agenda item?
Yeah.
Wrong one. My bad. But no, y'all hear me again. My apologies.
No problem. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, seeing no further public comment, that takes us to the next item on our agenda, which is, I would like to, pardon?
You can take them together.
The consent agenda and,
Nope,
pardon?
minutes.
Right, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. That brings us on to petitions and communications, Mr. Clerk.
The first one is communication received from Lisa Freiberger regarding her resignation from the Smart Zone Local Development Finance Authority.
It's referred to committee on appointments.
Communication received from Chet Falkowski regarding political violence.
Received and filed.
Communication received from John O'Connor regarding his resignation from the Uptown Corridor Improvement Authority and the Uptown Business Improvement District.
Referred to committee on appointments.
Communication received from Scott Atchison regarding the Kent County hotel tax increase and a downtown information system.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Jacqueline Solis urging the City Commission to support youth mental health services.
Received and filed.
3 communications received expressing opposition to the President's 2026 fiscal year budget proposal to eliminate Job Corps and the halt on required background checks for prospective students.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Nikki Bass, Director of the Office of Federal Acknowledgement regarding the Grand River Band of Ottawa Indians petition.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Russ Boersma, General Manager of Aero Waste, expressing concerns regarding the proposal to implement a single hauler refuse system in Grand Rapids.
Received and filed.
And finally, a communication received from Zach McGraw regarding ongoing code violations in the Lake Eastbrook area.
Received and filed. This brings us to reports of city officers.
Yes, the comptroller's report for the period of May 6, 2025 through May 19, 2025 in the amount of $23,277,746.60 and the monthly travel report.
Received and filed.
Second is the treasurer's report for a period of May 8, 2025 through May 27, 2025.
Received and filed.
And finally, a report of bond sale, $122,270,000 Series 2025 capital improvement bonds for soccer stadium and amphitheater.
Received and filed. That brings us to our consent agenda, and to remind everyone in the audience, this is the block approval of things which passed out of committee unanimously and which were not pulled out of that group by anyone for further discussion. Can I have a motion?
Support.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Which brings us to our a couple hearings on ordinances to be adopted. And procedurally, I believe I need a motion for immediate consideration before we move further.
Yes.
Can I have a motion?
A motion for immediate consideration. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Yasasi, if you can introduce the first one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is a series ordinance for water supply system improvement, our junior lien revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed $18 million. So on April 29th of this year, this body approved the publication of a 45-day notice of intent regarding the potential issuance of one or more series of water supply, therefore known as the System Improvement Junior Lien Bonds, in any amount not to exceed $18 million. The notice of intent was published in the GR Press on Sunday, May 4th, and the 45-day referendum period will expire on June 18th of this month. And to date, no petition for referendum has been filed. Additionally, one or more bond series are proposed to provide up to $18 million in bond proceeds to pay all or a portion of the cost of structuring system improvements and related components and public infrastructure directly affected by these improvements. Thank you.
Thanks for the explanation. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a clarification, Mayor. We had the motion for immediate consideration. We need the resolution to adopt the ordinance.
We can have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, hold on, roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Backing that bus up.
Commissioner Belcheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgore,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand.
Yes.
And then the motion for immediate effect.
Right. Well, I was asking whether there was discussion. I think we just had a vote without without getting to the discussion part. Did anyone want to have a discussion on this? Okay, moving on. Can I have a motion for immediate effect?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries.
And our next one is the ordinance amending Section 1 of the Budget Ordinance 2024-23 for fiscal year 2025, Amendment Number 9.
Commissioner Robbins?
So,
Sorry. Can I have a motion for immediate consideration?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Just a motion.
Just for the first one? Okay.
So I moved it.
support.
This one doesn't need immediate consideration. Got it.
Yep, and then just some additional information on this one. So these were four budget amendment items that came before us this morning at our fiscal committee. First one is for our water department. It's for our water career program grant award. So that's a reception of a grant from the U.S. EPA. Item number 2 for our engineering department is a Michigan enhancement grant for fire department training facilities. Item number 3, also for our engineering department, is for Vital Streets Capital Fund. So it's a transfer of fund balance in the amount of $6,250,000 from Vital Streets Operating Fund to the Vital Streets Capital Fund. And then lastly, for our Fiscal Services Department is a new bond issuance for our soccer stadium and amphitheater projects. And I'll just add on that one, we had a good quick overview from our CFO this morning, just highlighting the fact that those are not general taxpayer dollars coming from our income tax or property tax, but backed by the revenue of our hotel motel excise fee. So I'll just add that piece as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion of these items? Then I will ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Kilgore,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Belcheck,
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand.
Yes, motion carries. We have a motion for immediate effect.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. This brings us to two public commission hearings, hearings. And I don't know who from staff is going to take this. Ms. Renero is here? Okay, great.
Want to introduce it, Mayor?
Sure. So this is a public hearing to consider application for a 12-year, we sometimes call these OPRA, which stands for Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Exemption Certificate, for ICCF doing a project at 2017 Eastern Avenue.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is an activation of an existing USPS building, if you can picture it at Eastern and Burton. It's a really long building, 17,000 square feet, 2-story, and ICCF is going to activate 15 1- to 2-bedroom apartments. Couple of things I just wanted to call attention to are the aspirational inclusion goals for subcontractors at 20%. And then just the other layers of investment into this deal. We have Southtown CIA contributing $10,000 in a facade grant. We've got the revitalization and placemaking dollars from 23 from the MEDC in the amount of a little over $1 million. And we also have MISHTA coming to the table with My Neighborhood dollars. I wanted to just invite Dakota Reel up from ICCF to talk a little bit about the project. Thank you.
Have to bring this down a little bit. Hi, thanks for having me. So excited to present this project to some of you. It's new. To some, you've already heard about this one. ICCF did inherit this project. Unfortunately, some other developers who were looking to make it market rate just couldn't make it work. But fortunately for us, we're able to make it completely income qualified. So every single unit in this location will serve neighbors at or below 120% AMI. About 4 of those units are going to be for those higher income neighbors, and the rest will be all for 60% AMI neighbors or below. We're looking to work with the Grand Rapids Housing Commission to receive 7 project-based vouchers so we can serve neighbors with incomes from 0 to 30%. Wanted to also just mention Mishta My Neighborhood, their brand new program. We received $1.4 million from them to preserve this as affordable housing. So we're really excited to do this. We're excited to kind of bring this dilapidated, obsolete building back to life. And this tax incentive really allows us to do that and serve our neighbors in that community.
Great, thank you. Are there anyone here from any of the tax units that want to be heard? Taxing units? Anyone else from the audience want to be heard on this?
Hello, friends. Mark from Grand Rapids. I mentioned this, I know that from 2 years ago, they was talking about this, trying to make it market rate. I'm glad somebody stepped in and had the brains to make it somewhat affordable. It's a good thing. The problem is, these building materials are going to come from out the country, which means there's going to be tariffs put on here. So these construction costs and the project costs are going to be a little bit more higher than what I see on the screen. So in terms of that, you better think about this. Because you say it could be affordable 60% or below, but at the end, someone's going to have to pay. And you know what's that going to come down to? The people who are going to rent are going to be the ones that's going to pay for it. So that's my feeling on that. But at least it's not going to be market rate as the previous developers from eons ago was going to hoodwink the public on. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Right here. See me, David. How y'all doing? I'm D. Jones. I'm over here playing NBA 2K25 during City Council. But I wanted to say I'm thankful that they're building affordable housings. And even though it's not super affordable for people, it is affordable for some people. We need all the housing that we can get. But I wish the DeVosses created affordable housing. Put some of those billions, instead of asking for our tax revenues, buy some housing. You guys have loads of cash. You don't have to load it into politics. You can load it into the community. I just spent the 175th birthday party with the city, bringing my game systems and giving a free service to the community. And we had to build a good sense of community. It was people that was unhoused that I let people use my game system. Some people probably look at them as a bum or things like that and say negative things, but I look at those people as human beings and I treated those people no different. So you guys can do an actual service to the community instead of asking the city and the citizens for our tax revenues. You guys can build some affordable housing too. Y'all some good Christian people, ain't y'all? Y'all believe in Jesus, right? Put some of those good funds. I'm sure that the good Lord ain't tell y'all to go build a soccer stadium. That's what y'all wanted to go build. So y'all can partner with ICCF or donate to any one of these good religious faith-based nonprofits, and we can build some affordable housing. I'm going to keep being on the DeVosses and Vandal, Ando, and Grand Action 2.0's next about this until you guys do it. If y'all be on my head about it too. But I know I'm doing good things for the community. You can't question my character with the little things that I have. I give back with all that I can. So the DeVosses, Van Andel, Grand Action 2.0, it's a lot of faith-based nonprofits building affordable housing, and you can help do that. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I'll declare this hearing closed and. refer
Mayor,
this to committee of the whole.
I have a
Yes?
question for ICCF.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay. You want to come back up?
Wouldn't mind. Sorry. Just curious, will the postal office remain?
Yes.
Okay, so you're just building up?
Absolutely. We're just going around it. So everything behind the post office has been empty and vacant and dilapidated for decades, unfortunately. In fact, our intention is not to disrupt their services for even a single day. So they shouldn't have to shut down. We're even going to be adding some facade improvements and some pedestrian kind of right-of-way elements to make it a little bit more pleasant as you're exiting that store.
Do you know if they have any plans to do some of their own upgrades, kind of as part of this larger?
I'm not sure. We're trying to do as much as we can to the space around them without interrupting their services. There's some pretty intense USPS laws around closures, so we're learning a lot.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to see this major improvement. That corridor, I think, is just really on the cusp of becoming our next kind of go-to neighborhood district. So really excited for you all taking on this project and getting it closer to be across the finish line.
We're excited to simply be a part of the legacy that's already started over there. So.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Belcher?
Yeah, thank you for the being here for the public hearing. Thank you, everyone who commented. A couple of quick things, hopefully. First, in a minute, would you be able to describe for everyone what a 60 and an 80% area mean income person might look like, what income bracket and family size? And then the second thing is if you could talk about the energy efficiency and sustainability parts of the program or your development, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Yes, sorry, she had the AMI printed. So, while we put on our caps, so our cap rate is that we would serve neighbors with 120% AMI and 60% AMI, we actually priced our rents for people without vouchers below those target goals. The reason for that, just to kind of explain that, is that oftentimes when people hit the caps for some of those rents, that's high rent. And we just knew that our neighbors in this community weren't going to be able to kind of afford that, right? So the housing affordability, the estimated affordability for our rental rates is about 45 to 50% AMI, or 45 to 75% AMI. Which looks like a household earning an annual gross income, so before taxes, of about $33,525 to $55,000 in that area.
What size household is that?
I don't have that in front of me, and I can pull it up.
Usually it's a family of four, but that's why it does adjust depending on what size your family is. So that's why these percentages are so confusing for people to hear in the public.
Yeah.
So, but basically we're looking at people who are like regular, everyday working class people.
Absolutely.
Right? Not, so it's just part of the thing that I'm championing as we communicate.
Thank you.
That we share what that looks like. These are the people who go teach our kids. These are the people who work in a daycare. These are the people who might, I don't know, fill in the blank, right? And then the second part was about the environmental and sustainability stuff.
Yeah. So ICCF we also inherited some environmental sustainability goals that were already a part of this project. So it's a completely electric building, which we're really excited about. This will be our first complete electric building that we've ever done. And then really what's great about this is that we're not removing or demoing any part of this building. So we're doing as much as we can to green the existing structure and make it as energy efficient as possible, not just for us, the developer, and trying to use good sustainable materials, but also when our neighbors move in, we really want their utility bills to be as low as possible. So we try to make sure things are very insulated, very sealed, things like that. Does that answer your question?
That's very helpful. Do you think that there would ever be like you've got green space on the outside, but what about the roof?
So
is it any good?
I don't know if Yeah, you can see there is practically no green space on this entire lot. It's shocking. We're adding a little bit of landscaping where we can. Unfortunately, I don't think we have room for a green roof. They're very expensive, and this is an affordable housing development. So we're trying our best to meet as many goals as possible. And one of those is we're focusing on the structure.
Thank you for the extra sharing.
No, for sure. Any other ones?
Anyone else? Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Actually, Mayor, there was one other public comment that just didn't make it in time.
Hi, my name is Tony, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Affordable homes is very confusing when it comes down to affordable. Affordable for who? You have senior citizens like myself. They call affordable homes. If you call getting only $1,700 a month, an affordable one-bedroom house, $1,500. What are you supposed to live off of? That's not affordable at all. So I've been looking for me an affordable home or affordable apartment or whatever affordable, whatever it means, because right now to me, it's no such thing as affordable. Not with my income. Everywhere I went to try to get an affordable place to live, I don't bring in enough money. So what is affordable? And I would love to hear you let me know what exactly do affordable mean to a person that don't have an affordable money. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further comments, I'll close that hearing. That brings us to our next public hearing. This is to consider commemorative designation 2, actually, and Mr. Berkman can perhaps speak to both of them. First, public hearing to consider a commemorative designation of Umatilla Street between Madison and Union as Amular Penn Way.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners, City Manager, Tim Berkman, City Engineer. Street naming, including commemorative designations such as these, runs through the Engineering Department. So here to report on these two requests that have been received for your consideration. The first one, we received a request from Corey Penn, the father of Amelia Penn, and Seeds of Promise GR to commemoratively designate Umatilla Street between Madison and Union as Amelia Penn Way. Amelia was tragically killed on Umatilla near Madison in June of 2024 while playing football with friends. He was 15. He had grown up in the area, staying with his grandmother in the nearby neighborhood, as the family has reported to us, and his family has circulated a petition in support of this request to honor his memory. Want to note that the original street name signage on this, as well as the next one that I'll speak to, would remain for addressing and navigation purposes, but the commemorative designation signage would be placed as signage beneath the existing Umatilla street name signs. So I want to note that important element, that street name would remain, as we've heard some concern from neighborhood residents on that particular aspect. Per the policy, all owners of property adjacent to this portion of Umatilla have been notified of this hearing by mail, and notice was also advertised in the GR press. Speaking to the second one that was received, this one came to us from Pastor Rory Marshall and the Lighthouse Full Life Center Church to designate the intersection of Madison and Alger as Dr. Melinda Sapp Way. Dr. Sapp passed away following a battle with cancer in September of 2010. Along with her husband, Dr. Sapp founded Lighthouse Full Life Center, which is located on the southwest corner of this intersection. The request letter went on to detail Dr. Sapp's contributions to the community through her ministry as an educator and as a counselor. Again, as with the previous item, notice of this hearing was mailed to those property owners adjacent to this intersection, and notice was published in the GR press. So I'm here for any questions you may have now or following the public hearing.
Anyone from the audience wish to be heard on this issue?
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Freeman Battle, and my condolences go out to the family of the young man. But I do not want to see that sign on that street. And I'm going to let you know why, because I don't want you to think I'm selfish or anything like that, you know. But my family, has been living on Umatilla 60 years. Everyone on that street called my mom their mom, and they called her the Queen of the U. And I don't know, maybe some of you up here may know her, Mary Freeman. And the whole street got together to honor her name on Umatilla. My sister got in touch with the city and talked to the people at the city and everything. They gave us permission to put the sign up. We put it on the corner of Madison and Umatilla and on the corner of Union and Umatilla. One of your night workers came along and cut the signs down. So we called downtown and we talked to them about the sign and what the worker had did. And they said, no, you had permission to put it up. But the worker said it was interfering with the Umatilla sign, which it was not. It wasn't even as tall as the Umatilla sign. And it read it read,
Let me take over here.
wait a minute, it read,
This
in memory
was
of our mother, Mary Freeman, Queen of the U. And I think it would be unfair for a young man that has never lived on Umatilla, never really seen him on Umatilla, to have his name put up, and I'm going to say our street, out of 60 years, our street. And we would like our mother's sign to be put back up there. And like I said, the city gave us permission to do this, but it's not fair that he cut my mother's sign down. Now you want to put somebody else's sign up there that didn't live on that street. And I feel if it's that important to his dad, which I can kind of understand and I feel for him, but he has a street. The boy's mother have a street. The boy has a street. It can't be put up on one of you guys' street. You know, why has it got to be put up on Umatilla with somebody that been living there 60 years when the workers come and cut their sign down?
Thank you, ma'am.
And like I say, that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Emerine Smith, and I'm here to share with you heartfelt story about Dr. Melinda P. Sapp as you consider the sign for Madison and Alger. Dr. Melinda Sapp, known to many affectionately as Lady M. Her professional titles were professor, psychologist, visionary owner of Great School, Inc., entrepreneur, and a pastor, and a philanthropist. Her beloved titles were wife, mom, godmother, sister, aunt, friend, and yes, philanthropist in 2 sections. I looked up the definition of this. I know what it means, but I wanted to make sure that I got the true definition of a philanthropist. It's defined as a person who has a high concern for human welfare and shows it by donating money, property, time, or work to aid people in need or to support institutions that serve the public. She did this in her professional and personal capacity. One of the criteria for a sign to be considered is the contribution to the community and being well known by others. I could stand here for hours, but I know I have 1 minute and 40 seconds left to tell you many ways she touched the lives of people in the community. I'll highlight a few. She was the board member of Pine Rest, and currently right now one of the rooms is known as the Dr. Melinda P. Sapp Sensory Room. She was a board member of the Grand Rapids Symphony Celebration, the Celebration of Soul. Currently, right now, each year, the Celebration of Soul honors an individual, the Dr. Melinda P. Sapp Agency Legacy Award, that was established to honor individuals and organizations for their ongoing efforts of inclusion for everyone. For over 13 years, she participated, supported the Back to School rally where we gave free backpacks, clothes, school supplies, free haircuts, and games. We also, for 5 years, had the Feed America trucks, food was fed for families of 4 for an entire week, and we also gave out a box of toiletries. She was also instrumental in the after-school program to provide tutors and to provide free music lessons. College students were picked up every Sunday to get fed spiritually and physically with good food, good hot food. When she died, the local news stations ran a report and countless expressions were said about how she impacted people, paying for free gas, going through the checkout lane, and she's just swiping her card. And there are countless, still today, you can go on to Wood TV 8 and 13 and you can see all the responses. So thank you in advance for your consideration of this sign.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leah Jackson. I stay on Umatilla. You guys are going to open up a can of worms you can't close if you keep naming different streets after kids who pass. That is not fair to start it if you're not going to finish it. So I don't think it's right to open that can of worms. You can put like a plaque that she has or something in a parkway or something where he was born and when he passed, and he passed on Umatilla, that sign can go in the parkway over there where he passed, or it can go in front of their house. But changing names to streets, I don't think that should be done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry. I live on Umatilla along with my mother back there with the white hat on for 60 years, and she's the oldest resident on the street and has been there the longest. So we've seen the city go through an evolution. It started out as predominantly white and then integrated to predominantly black. Then the crime came in, and a lot of the residences that grew up there, they were single parents, not because they didn't spend time with their kids or want to spend time with their kids because of sickness and illnesses. So it was a hard life over there. We've seen all kind of crime. You can see, been victims of crime. We do not want to remember that. It's just a part of us. My father was shot in the yard. He survived, but we don't need a sign to say that. We don't need a sign. The city has left that part of the neighborhood for a long time. No funds, delayed police responses, or none. It is now evolving where we had Southtown come in, ICCF, Link. People have businesses now. People have died, been part of crime, made it out of the neighborhood, have their own businesses, education, contribute back to the neighborhood. We don't need a sign to validate violence, crime. That's how I see it. I remember all that. That's there already. These people, some people don't even live in the neighborhood, have not, you guys are, some of you are a little young, so you may not remember or know about it, but it was crime-ridden. You had to come in. We've all had crime ourselves. Break-ins, stolen cars, stolen property. We've lost many neighbors and friends to crime. Drugs, you name it, we've seen it. You name the crime, we've seen it. We don't want to remember that. We don't need a sign to remember that. So I'm opposing it, and I'm speaking for my mom and the older neighbors on the street. That's not here. They couldn't make it. We don't need a sign.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone in attendance here. I'm here just to support what my twin sister has said. I currently live on the street with my mom, taking care of my mom, so I'm not going to be up here too long. I just want to let you know that I'm supporting everything she said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you share your name for the record, sir? Thank you.
Sorry about that. My name is Tony Mosley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Helen, and I'm one of the ones that's been living on Umatilla for 50-something years. And like my neighbor was saying, that we have endured a lot of crime over there, you know. But my situation now is, and I'm not going to blame the father or the young man, I want to talk to the city about this. It's because the city is allowing this to happen, okay? The young man, I understand, because I know how his family feel, because I just lost a nephew that was only 12 years old. So I know how he's feeling right now. But we cannot continue to, okay, the lot he passed away in, okay, that lot were for the younger kids that lives on that street to play in, to keep them from playing in the street, okay? We had sympathy for them, so we didn't really complain about all the lights and all the stuff that he's got in this lot, where he's turned it into a memorial spot. And my problem is, okay, like I says, I have feelings for what's going on with him. But my problem is, I live in that area, okay? When they have their little anniversaries and stuff, hundreds and hundreds of kids show up. Now, could you imagine all these kids in your neighborhood not thinking that the same thing that just happened with his son could happen again, you know? And here, these kids don't even live over there. They never even came over there until this situation happened. And now, you know, you can't, sometimes when you want to go outside, you go outside, it's gangs and gangs of them out there. And they don't, you know, right now, they're not doing anything. They just visiting the site, which, you know, that's okay. But, you know, us older people kind of get a little intimidated by it, you know, trying to come home with your groceries, get into your household or whatever, you know. So my thing is, the city needs to step in and explain, you know, the reason why this stuff should be removed. Because it brings back too much memories of what happened right there on that street. I was sitting right there when it happened. I seen it. I cried when I seen that young man there. I cried because it was so horrific. But then, you know, all this stuff they got laying around, sitting there, it's just bringing back memories and bringing up all those kids back to the neighborhood.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Sam Mickens, Sr. Melinda Sapp was a very good friend of mine. And if anybody has a resume to have a street or anything named after him, I think y'all know. I can see it on y'all face when they mention the name. I can see the light up on y'all face. It would be Dr. Melinda P. Sapp.
Thank you.
I just want to clear up a couple of things with add in a couple of things to what my sisters were saying about my mom.
Ma'am,
my name
could give your name again, ma'am, briefly.
Yes, I was just getting ready to. My name is Tony Foster again. And I wanted to tell you a few things was left out about my mother. My mother was a neighborhood watch. Herself and the guy up the street, Larry, both of them passed on. My mom was so good in keeping that street clean. Chief Dole would come over there every Saturday and sit on the porch with her. He admired her that much. And this chief that we have here now...
Ma'am, you got to address us.
Oh, okay. The chief that we have here now, I admires him. He comes on the street and he listens to the people. And I wish my mother had a chance to meet him as well. But there is a letter I wanted to read, and then I'll be done with, I won't be back up here. But this letter is just to let everybody know that we do have feelings, and our family are godly children. My mother grew us up in the church, and we still go to church. I am writing to respectfully express my concerns regarding the proposal to rename Umatilla Street in honor of Amelia Penn, a 17-year-old who was tragically killed on that street. When I deeply sympathize with the family and understand their grief, I believe renaming the street is not the most appropriate way to honor his memory. It is important to recognize that Amelia did not reside on Umatilla Street. And while his passing is undeniably heartbreaking, renaming the street does not align with the city's own criteria for street name changes. The policy requires that the individual being honored should have been living on that street if you want to honor him on that street. But additionally, many long-term residents of Umatilla Street have voiced their opposition to the name change. These individuals have lived there for decades and decades and decades. We still have some that's pushing 100 years old that still live on Umatilla and been on Umatilla since I was born, and I'm 67. And then it said, these individuals have lived there for decades, built their lives in the neighborhood, and feel that renaming their street is neither necessary nor appropriate. Their concerns should be taken into account as a street name change affects not only city records.
Ma'am, you're at your 3-minute time, so if you wrap it up.
I only had a couple of more to go, but that's all right. I'm good. Thank you.
Yep.
Ma'am, did you want to leave a copy of that letter? Ms. Foster, did you want to leave a copy of that letter for us to view the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. We can make a copy of it too, so you can have the
Okay,
original.
thank you.
Mark back. I did not. No, my late aunt stayed on Umatilla from the 60s into the early 70s. Yeah, we used to go over to a home we were when I was a kid. It wasn't as bad as most folks say now. The problem I have with it is there was no communication on this commemorative designation. If it would have been, it would have been handled a little bit more smoothly. You better think about this. Because the residents that's been living there for a long time should have been heard before this designation. Now, my condolences to the family of Amelia Penn, but this should have been taken care of a long time ago. Then you wouldn't have this type of chaos to fester. I think that's a bad move on y'all part. So I think you should hold off on it until more communication is needed. Because something will happen, and you don't want that to fall on. You don't want that to fall on the feet of y'all, and y'all will feel bad, and y'all will have the bullseyes on your backs if you approve this. So think about it and get both sides together and talk about what you're going to do about this. Because I feel that I don't have no dog in this fight. But it's up to you to do the right thing, or something bad will come of this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Corey Penn. I'm the father of Amelia Penn. I put together the petition to change the street name or get a commemorative street name because I'm sitting back and I'm listening, and I hear about, he didn't live there, things like that. But he's a child of the community, He's a child of the community, and us as parents and adults, we have a duty to protect and uphold all the children of the community. So when I initially did that, I wanted to honor my son the best way I possibly could. Many children were affected by what happened that day. He was outside. I was not actually there, but from parents and from other neighbors who I don't see here, these little babies seeing my son get executed. So did a lot of the adults that I don't see here as well. I'm just doing the best that I possibly can as a father to keep my son's name alive, and also bring a sense of change to the community. We're not trying to bring negativity to the community. Those lights over there in that lot, it's not to annoy people or to bring back flashbacks or anything, but a reminder to the community that, you know, what happened shouldn't happen again. It shouldn't happen again. And the youth, all the youth itself is a light. So, you know, you guys are going to do what you want to do. I'm going to continue to honor my son. I heard about the groups of people. I got a little bit of time. I've heard about the groups of people come over there. Nothing's happened. They check in with me. They talk to me. They come over there and I ask them to respect the area they're at. But we would love to see that, because that would be a big reminder to the community that the gun violence needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I am Pastor R.J. Marshall, the Senior Leader and Pastor of Lighthouse for Life Center. I submitted the request for the commemorative for Dr. Melinda Sapp Way. We did that in honor of her in her contribution to this community, as well as to extend her legacy. I have became the successor of the church that she founded with her late husband, well, not her late husband, with her husband, Bishop Marvin Sapp, and I've been pastoring for the last 6 years, and our church has went through transition, and in the transition, we have new congregants who have come, who have only heard of the contributions of Dr. Sapp, and so we thought it would be befitting to honor her by, whenever someone comes down the street, as well as to come into our faith community, to be able to recognize the contributions to not just our church, but to the people that have been invested into as well. So that is our submission to you all, and we prayerfully hope that you would consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, you've already talked on this issue.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, seeing no further comment then, I will call this public hearing closed and refer those two items to the Community Development Committee. That brings us to public comments. Anyone wishing to comment on any matter can come up to the microphone.
So just for clarification, Mayor, so those people who already spoke in the public hearing also now have another opportunity to
Right.
address
If
the
you want to
commission?
come up again now, you can.
I'm good now.
I think we got the theme. Thanks.
I'm good. Thanks, Mayor.
How y'all doing? I'm D. Jones, pioneer, natural leader, future billionaire, trillionaire. That's not unrealistic. I got some cool stuff. I gotta say though, I hope if I die or if I'm alive, I get a street named after me too. I help collect signatures for a street, and I think I'm a pretty historical black person for sure after I get into this. So I can't show this because the city government doesn't allow you to show stuff, but it's not anything like inappropriate or anything like that. But we partner, I pitched, I earned a $10,000 grant back in October. I was on Channel 8 News, and then ABC 13 came in person as I had a $32 billion company, Epic Games, educate students at Ottawa Hills, our worst underperforming school in our district. I can honestly say my partnership with the Safe Pitch Task Force and the city government helped students get a scholarship, a couple scholarships to Davenport University. I was just on Channel 8 again, live at the TV station, and this article that I have, this first page is Yahoo Sports, so we made it on the global platform here locally this past Friday for speaking about the summer program that the Office of Oversight and Public Accountability is going to be open. Then the second page speaks about the kid getting a scholarship and him speaking about his journey and me helping the school district build 6 esports labs and helping KDO invest hundreds of thousands in the esports and infrastructure for our community. And then this third page is me having a conversation with a COO that ran $1 trillion investment portfolio. That is a trillion T. The first side I have me having a conversation, and then it's the actual visuals of the pitch deck with every person that's actually on the team, and the other person also worked for NVIDIA, which is a $3 trillion company. So I have some very, very, very educated, high level, these people graduated from Yale and Harvard, and I'm having daily conversations with these kind of people. I know the kind of high level business that I bring to the city, the value that I bring to the city, and I'm never going to downplay who I am and the things that I'm achievable, Regardless if I'm in a room with some politicians, y'all, nobody. I'm never going down who what I can do because I'm a beautiful black person. I'm doing beautiful things, and I'm changing the school system. I'm helping increase scholarships, and I'm helping our education system. Then I got this cool influencer initiative where we have zero entry fee. That means $0 and 0 cents. We give you our license. Doug Matthews, our assistant city manager, was talking about how you guys created an initiative where you got our branding and logos from 175 years, and you'll be able to utilize that for the community's benefit. And we have the same thing, no entry fee. I gave Al Vandenberg one of our esports energy drinks that I speak to you guys about. He said it's fantastic. He even asked me where could he buy it. This is our county administrator. I know how powerful I can be. This is powerful as a politician. We do beautiful things for Kent County. Our city government, I already was on the news for that. And I got a couple news interviews coming up. I'm not letting up on those billionaires, and I'm still on you about that crypto, David.
Hello. My name is Kamadi Long, like I stated earlier. I would like to just tell y'all a little bit about myself. I'm a kid that necessarily grew up on the west side here, went to Union High School, like I said. I just like to just show y'all, like, I'm a representation of GRPS and also the esports community, because I started playing esports actually when I moved to Texas back in 2022, and I was able to, obtain a spot on the 2K team down at Texas Southern University. I'm the captain of the 2K team there, as y'all can see with my jersey, name on the back, My nickname Yook, so hey, my gamer tag, everything like that, on my social medias and stuff like that is Yook. So I necessarily just wanted to tell y'all, like, I'm a product of the community. I'm actually a young entrepreneur. Also, I have my own business. I'm sell fragrances. So if y'all see me in the community or anything like that, you'll see me with these, and I'll be passing them out and stuff like that. So, but I just wanted to just try to just tell y'all how important the Stop the Violence movement is, and how important the mental health is for the youth. Because if I didn't have this esports route, and I didn't have, just being able to escape and be able to, not be in the neighborhoods all day, I'm able to, be in a place where I feel accepted. And I'm able to be able to play video games with my friends and not have to worry about getting shot, not have to worry about anything happening to me, because I know I have that comfort. And I didn't get that until I moved to Texas. Because here I didn't have access to any of that at Union High School. We didn't have an esports lab. We didn't have any of those resources to be able to just be able to be kids at a point. And right now, I just wanted to tell y'all, esports is a real big thing down in the South, and I hope y'all integrated that up north. I hope so. But another thing that I just wanted to touch on is, I'm a figure for the kids. If y'all didn't see me on the 175th birthday, I was out there with the game consoles, my cousin game consoles, and necessarily speaking to the kids, speaking to them about NIL and how they can necessarily monetize their name and make money off their face, their name, image, and likeness. Necessarily with these companies, just by playing video games, is just being a kid. They can make money by sitting on the couch. I know that sounds crazy and stuff like that, but you could literally make money sitting on the couch when I was a kid. And people really don't understand that, and understand the power behind that. You necessarily teaching kids necessarily how to go about business contracts and things of that nature. But one last thing I'm gonna tell y'all is, I would probably like to announce that I signed with OD Gaming Agency. So I am now a signed content creator through OD Gaming Agency. I'm a kid from Grand Rapids that was not destined to be a lot of things, and I'm a college student now, and I'm able to, strive and be great. So be on the lookout for me in the future. Thank you.
My boy.
Hi, my name is Shannon. I live in the 3rd Ward. Last week, many of you may have heard about the riots in LA, where ICE agents were arresting and detaining immigrants who were showing up to their check-in appointments. That also happened here in Grand Rapids. And when activists went to the office to try to figure out what was going on and help the immigrants in question, the Grand Rapids Police Department was there cooperating with and assisting ICE agents. So what you said would not happen thanks to the foreign nationals policy, which is basically the same as being a sanctuary city, did in fact happen. So that policy is not working. It's not enough, like people have been saying for months. So I would implore you to declare Grand Rapids a sanctuary city, prohibit Grand Rapids from cooperating with or interacting with ICE at all. And many cities in the country have declared themselves sanctuary cities, including Atlanta, Baltimore, and East Lansing here in Michigan. So I encourage you to call your neighbor mayor in East Lansing and ask how it's done. Also, I think you could take things a step further and just make it as difficult as possible for ICE agents to be in the city. I know you can't literally kick them out, though I wish we could, but I don't see why you couldn't make policies to increase taxes on federally owned or leased buildings or something of that nature to just make it as difficult as possible for ICE to function in the city of Grand Rapids. But at the very least, I think you should be listening to your constituents that have been saying for months that we need to declare Grand Rapids a sanctuary city and prohibit the police department from cooperating with ICE. Thank you.
Mark back again. When I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, we had a first sergeant who had one of the great lines that I ever heard. And I'm gonna keep it clean. He always says, "Don't try to bull bleep the bull bleepers." Why did I say this? You have the orange felon lying about everything under the sun. The South African president caught him showing a fake video from 5 years ago he was talking about some burial sites, but it was a memorial from 5 years ago of women who were raped and burned alive in Goma in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And the copy and paste of white people who were supposedly dead, which ended up being a lie. So much so, the felon whisked that paperwork off to one of his henchmen and took off with it. Now for what's happening in LA, which I have family there. They live in the eastern suburbs, so there was nowhere near there. You have right-wing agitators posing as protesters, instigating stuff during these ICE raids. So much so that the National Guard was called, and now Marines over there. Their orders, shoot to kill. Trust me, if that Australian reporter would have been dead, if it would have been real led by a Marine instead of a rubber bullet by LAPD. I knew something like this was going to happen. And if you think this is just the end of it, no, that's not happening. There's going to be more of this all around the country. It could happen anywhere, during any event. I wouldn't be surprised if they might raid the Little League World Series, because you got kids from other countries that's going to come here, and something will happen badly. Boycott Tesla.
Yes, I'm kind of speaking up on my brother's behalf right now. where he has all his son's memory at. My brother mows that lot with his riding mower, and that's where the kids, play football and stuff like that at. He can't mow it now because it's from down there all the way down here. It looks like a cemetery. And nobody's asking him to take it all down, but to take some of it down where the kids can get their playground back. Because like they say, the young man was playing football with the kids when he got shot. That is not true. He wasn't playing football with the kids at all. And so I don't know if the dad would do that, don't take it all down, because I understand how he feel. But just take a portion of it down where the children would be able to go back in that lot and play, and my brother would be able to make it decent and beautiful like he always do when he mow it and cleans it up.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, I'd like to move on to city commissioners. So, Commissioner Belcheck.
I just want to thank everyone for their comments, the care and concern that we continue to exhibit in our community about our neighbors and the way we want to be remembering and building community is really admirable. I appreciate what we've heard here. We will be considering more on these namings in the future. And I just want to, in light of everything going on in the world, remind us that we in Grand Rapids can only do what we can do here in Grand Rapids to the best of our ability, and we should. And we should look to our neighbors, and we should look to our way of celebrating who we are and our diversity. We should be looking for how to celebrate and continue the celebration we launched this last weekend with our 175th anniversary. Our city has changed a lot, and we continue to grow and evolve. We're not perfect, but I think that's the goal. We continue to work together to make it more of what we want in our city. I am very concerned about the affordable housing crisis. I continue to be. I'm also interested in seeing more as we move forward to think about how housing and climate adaptation and resilience overlap. I think that these are things that we can continue to talk about more as we are working through our zoning changes that will necessarily be needed to merge the community master plan that we approved and other plans that are in the works and needing to be reevaluated, whether it's the biking plan from 2019 or the climate action and adaptation resilient plan that we've got currently under review. There's a lot of opportunity, and I think that we need to be thinking about the city of the future. That's from the community angle, but also from the built world angle. What materials are we using? Is it doing what we want to help make attainability more even than affordability, which includes reducing our utility bills for our residents and building infrastructure that can cool the city instead of creating heat island effects, that can offer more green space and places for people to have a cooling center or a warming center. Air quality centers are going to be needed. The wildfires are a reminder of that. So we have a lot of things going on in our world, but I think there's a reason to hope. And I don't want us to fall into the trap of looking outside of us and ourselves and thinking that everything's falling apart and we have no control. Each one of us is a center, an epicenter of change and control in that way. So let's continue these conversations. Let's continue working together. I myself am going to be having a constituent have ice cream and chat together at Tzatziki's with County Commissioner Nancy Morales on the 20th at 12 o'clock. That's on Roosevelt Park, a neighborhood, Cesar Chavez area. So you're welcome to come, talk. We'll dream together, complain together, whatever needs to be done, because that's how we're going to do this together.
Commissioner Kilgore? Commissioner Knight?
Thank you. Grateful for this day. I know at the beginning of the year I gave y'all a countdown. I've lost track. I would just encourage people to continue to, well, thank you for your time, first of all, today, and coming out and spending time and sharing your thoughts. It gave me a little bit to think about in some of the things that we do here in the city and the why behind it. I'm thankful, Dakota, for coming out and sharing the information about ICCF. It's another step forward. We know we've got lots of steps in the process, but it's another step towards doing some things that need to happen here in our community to protect our community members and our neighbors and our friends. Also, there is an opportunity which is going on across the nation, I believe this weekend, for people to go to the No Kings rallies. I believe there's one at Nabawan Park on this Saturday. So that is another way that we can step up and show our support for our friends and our neighbors across the country, but here locally in the city. And that's the one thing that I support all the time, is being able to utilize your voice and do things in the way that we need to. I was at the All-PAC meeting yesterday afternoon, and one of the things I shared with them is as we continue to wade through the uncertainty of things that are happening in our community, that we're making sure that we are sharing good information, and not just sharing because that's our friend, our neighbor, our cousin, our sister, our brother, because all information is not good information. And so to really be able to continue to keep our neighbors safe and to keep ourselves safe also means that we need to be responsible for what we're putting out there, what we're resharing, what we're spreading. Good information is worth sharing, but making sure that we take the time to investigate the narratives and make sure that we're saying the right things to help each other in our community. And I'm grateful that this young man came and shared a little bit of his story, and those are the stories that our young men in the street need to hear. So hopefully you're continuing to share that with them. Thank you.
Commissioner Purdue.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank this community, this family, for coming and sharing. I can just feel the love in the room towards Queen of the U and each other, and it's really beautiful to see and to feel here. And thank you for your long-standing commitment to each other and to our community, and doing all the things that you say, like mowing people's lawn and all the things to really try to preserve and protect your community, no matter what other people may or may not be doing around you. So thank you. It was great to hear from you and to hear your thoughts on the proposal, because without you coming here, I wouldn't have had that perspective. So thank you. Just to clarify, because some folks were asking in the hallway, we are not voting on that today. And maybe before we adjourn, City Manager can confirm when the date that we will actually vote on that proposal. Okay. With that, I just want to say, it's finally summer-ish, and there's a lot of cool programs happening. We have free summer day camp through Parks and Rec for youth ages 6 through 12. So we talked a lot about how do we engage and protect our youth. We have the Neighborhood Match Fund, which is open, which you can get up to a match of $5,000 to support your resident-led project. And the pools and the splash pads are open. So just hoping through these activities and others that folks stay connected and stay safe as we really kick off the summer here soon. So with that, thank you so much.
Commissioner Usasi.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody coming out today. And I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. First was about the 175th anniversary that we had this past weekend. We talked about that extensively. I think I'd love us to continue to look for ways that we can connect into, we're getting into summertime, as Commissioner Perdue said, so we have a lot of like our national nights out, our neighborhood associations. So what are some ways that we can, continue to activate that? So just highlighting that. And then I wanted to say, I know there was a comment made about the peaceful protest that was outside of the immigration check-in building, which I did not know existed, because a lot of sometimes these government works happen in a government standpoint. I do know that the police response that day was in response to a call that we received about a group gathering, so I do want to share that. I want to say thank you to Chief Winstrom and to the city manager for responding to some of the questions that I had related to that activity, as well as the activity that was existed online just regarding our technology and usage, and reminder that we have, different policies in place, but at different points when different pieces of technology were enacted. But I did want to say thank you for doing that, and always will continue. I think I always try to be mindful of where my source of information is and to drill down into it before I share it, and sometimes that's hard. I can think about time when I shared something, I think, with city manager. I was like, this is happening in Grand Rapids. And then we digged a little bit more, and it was like Grand Rapids, Minnesota. So I'm not going against one person or other, but just it's so easy to replicate information. And I do think misinformation, unfortunately, we have less and less public media is a strong concern here. I also want to say thank you to Ms. Behrens, our deputy city manager, and Ms. Connie Bohach. This past week, there was an event that a group was trying to do, and quite honestly, the air quality was really bad last week, and people just sprang into action. I think that's a good reminder of, sometimes we think about, certainly the impacts of climate change are vast and wide, and we've talked about that. But I also just appreciate the quick response to some of the realities that we're facing neighborhoods last week. And lastly, I'll just say, we were able to share our Pride Month proclamation. Happy to be a part of that, and just would like to say publicly, I'm an ally, and I'm here to support individuals, and I'll look forward to further celebrations this month. Thank you.
Commissioner Robbins?
Thanks, Mayor. Nothing more to add. Just good to see everybody. Stay safe, stay cool, and we'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Thanks. City Clerk?
I have nothing today.
City Attorney? City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. We have met extensively 5 weeks in a row in April and in May during the budget deliberations and loaded up this agenda. It does not look like we will have sufficient enough items to put on the agenda next week, and if that continues to be the case, we will likely issue a cancellation notice for the meeting on the 17th. So that would mean the next City Commission meeting would be on July 15th, and the street renaming item or the commemorative naming would be on the Community Development Committee agenda at that time for that committee to deliberate on a recommendation or next steps for the City Commission. So we'll bring that back to committee. I do want to share again my condolences to the Penn family. I was, there when at the funeral and saw Mr. Penn. He's left, but know how hard he, his family, and Amelia's mother took that, and such a tragic incident. Also, continue to relish in the memory of Miss Freeman. I never had the opportunity to meet her, and appreciate her family members being here, as well as those who pay homage to Dr. Sapp. And look forward to how we can be respectful to all of them moving forward. I should echo my appreciation to the staff for the work over this past weekend in celebration of the 175th anniversary of Grand Rapids, and for all the work that they have done throughout the budget process and today, and appreciate that work. Next week, today we acknowledge Pride Month. Next week will be Juneteenth, and so much diversity in our community, celebration not only here in Grand Rapids but across the country. And I think this is what makes America America, as we talked about this place where we could all have the pursuit of liberty and happiness, and we have to continue to move towards that endeavor. And part of that is dealing with these difficult issues that are being nationally discussed, and even at our city commission today. And I think, as I appreciate the commentary on, while it is certainly a national tragedy, we have to be very specific about what's happening in each community and be on point. And I just want to echo a couple of things, because this is a very sensitive matter, and we're seeing communities all over the country affected by some of the ongoing stories of federal involvement, local involvement, state involvement. And just to echo what Commissioner Sassi said, that incident that was shared earlier about the interaction with ICE, the Grand Rapids Police Department is maintaining fidelity to our policy on foreign nationals. In every reported incident, I asked the chief to look into. He looks into it, takes it all very seriously. And that incident in the 500 block of Michigan was not a matter of us cooperating with ICE on immigrant enforcement and ensuring arrests of undocumented community members. The call was related to trespassing, because what was reported, what was being the demonstration that was happening in the public right away was now on private property. And so as a private property owner, there was a complaint about people being in the building without permission for that purpose. And so that is what the department responded to. And as far as I can tell, that the people who were there were asked to leave and go on the street, and I'm not aware of any arrests from that incident. Is that correct, Chief? So so I want to just clarify that. Also, just want to reemphasize, I want to thank the police chief for also putting out a statement earlier or late last week about some of the alleged, and again, another report of alleged cooperation with matters regarding immigration of a GRPD officer, and the chief followed up as stated in the statement, and what was reported about a Grand Rapids Police Department member was not accurate. So that name, the alleged name of the person that was listed in that report, is not an employee of the city of Grand Rapids. The police chief confirmed that for us, and it was also verified in addition to his confirmation. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Marquardt, David Marquardt, our Parks Director. He's in the back of the room. Raise your hand. Mr. Marquardt has been with the city almost 10 years and has recently noticed of his intent to take another position in the city of Kalamazoo as the deputy city manager. So we want to congratulate him, thank him for his service, and he's left the department in very capable hands, and we will be announcing more about the both interim and long-term plans to fill his position, but wish him absolutely best in his future endeavors. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. That concludes the meeting.